sure that you check your solutions, because we're eventually going to get to where we have two solutions to choose from, and one of them is going to be extraneous. Do you guys remember what it means to be extraneous?
A lot.
Extraneous. Kind of, not really. Extraneous. If you have an extraneous solution, it's a solution that when you plug it into the equation results in a false statement. So it's kind of like a fake solution. It's not really a solution. You get it, but it doesn't get you into a correct statement in the beginning when you plug it back in. So let's check this one. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. Is the square root of 16 4? Yes, so we know that one's fine. All right, so let's do another one. Number 2. The square root of 5x plus 3. And then after that is a plus 2 that we're equaling to 0. So just like solving equations with absolute value signs or solving equations with just x's, if I had the absolute value of 5x plus 3 plus 2 equals 0, I would have to get the absolute value all by itself, right? And I would subtract that 2 over. Well, the same thing applies with radicals. You have to get that 2 over to the other side by subtracting it. So now I have a square root of 5x plus 3 equals negative 2. Square root's by itself, so now I'm going to square both sides. So now I have 5x plus 3 is equal to 4. Subtracting 3 gets me 5x is equal to 1. Dividing by 5 gets me x is equal to 1/5. Oh, I didn't even make my answer fancy in the last one. How quickly I've forgotten. All right, let's check it. Plug it back in. What's 1/5 of 5? 1. Right? 1 plus 3 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Is 2 plus 2 0? 2 plus 2 is not 0. So that means this is an extraneous solution, which tells me that there is no solution. So in this case, I've got a no solution. Okay? So check your solutions to make sure if they're extraneous or not. Which, if you think about it, if I would have jumped right back up to this step, is there any way for me to square root any number to get a negative answer? Does that make sense? Anytime you square root something, it's going to have to be a positive number, right? Because the only time I can take the square root of a number is if my radicand is positive. Yeah? That sink into our heads? Okay. All right, number 3. Now we're going to step up our game a little bit. Work a little bit harder. The square root of 5 minus x equals x plus 1. Is my square root sign all by itself? Yes. So I can go ahead and square right away to eliminate my square root, which leaves me with just the radicand of 5 minus x. But now when I square the right side, I got to do some foiling, which means I'm going to rewrite x plus 1 twice. Yeah, so I'm getting, Easton's got it, x squared plus 2x plus 1. 1 times 1 is 1. When you FOIL that out. You almost have it. So now I've got a quadratic equation, which means I'm probably going to have to try to FOIL this. So we're going back to our, not FOILing, factoring days. Move everything over to where I have a positive x squared term. I'm going to move my 5 over by subtracting it. Move it over there to the 1. I'm going to add my x over and combine it with my 2x. So now I have 0 on the left is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 4.
X equals negative.
I know, but all these will be factorable. You could do quadratic equation or formula, but they are all factorable. What are factors of negative 4 that get us to 3? Right, so factors of negative 4 would be 4 and negative 1. So I get x plus 4, x minus 1 in factored form. So my solutions are -4 and 1. Check them. Plugging them in. Back to the original. 5 minus a -4 would be 9. The square root of 9 is 3. Is -4 plus 1 positive 3? No. So this one's an Let's check 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. Is 1 plus 1 2? Yes. So that's my good one. So my only solution is 1. Okay. So far okay? Are you sure? Okay. Let's add some more terms into there. Square root of 1 minus 2p minus p squared equals p plus 1. This is just the same process. It's just now I have more terms underneath my radical. So square right away means my left side would just go to 1 minus 2p minus p squared. But then I have to square the other side. Do not just go right to p squared plus 1. Don't do that. I saw a meme somewhere that says if you do that somewhere, a cat dies or something like that. A kitten dies. So don't do that.
It's on a meme, it must be true.
It must be true, right? So p times p is p squared, 2 p's for your 2 middle terms, and then your last gets you to your 1. All right, so now I've got a negative p squared here and a positive p squared here. I want to move everything to my positive p squared. So I'm going to shift everything from my left side over to the right side. So that means I'm going to subtract a 1 over to that 1. I'm going to add a 2p over to that 2p. I'm going to add a p squared to that p squared. So now I have 0 is equal to 2p squared plus 4p. Factor it. So now I only have 2 terms. So what's the GCF? 2p. So if I take out a 2p, or not 2p is the question. What are my zeros? And -2. Good? So now I got to check them. Don't forget to check. Don't forget to check. Don't forget to check. If you plug in 0, that's nice because all of this cancels and I'm just left with a 1. Square root of 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 0 is good. Let's make sure -2 is not good. Well, let's just plug it in over here. -2 plus 1 gets me what? -1. Is there any way to get a square root of to get to a -1? No. So I don't even have to do the other side. So that tells me I'm not going to get anywhere. So my only solution is 0. Okay? All right, before we get to cube roots, let's do one crazy one where we have a radical within a radical. So I have a square root of 1 plus the square root of 24 minus 10x is equal to the square root of 3x plus 5. Looks crazy, but it's not so crazy.
And just square it again.
So I'm going to do a squaring on both sides. So when I square the left side, I'm left with 1 plus a square root of 24 minus 10x is equal to, in the right side, I would just have 3x plus 5. So then what would you do? Move that 1 over by subtracting it. So now I have a square root of 24 minus 10x equals 3x plus 4. Can you take it from there? Go ahead. All right, so cube roots is just the same process. It's just now we have, instead of squaring both sides, we would cube both sides. So if you have the cube root of 2x plus 7 is equal to the cube root of 3x minus 2. These are going to be our favorite ones because I just cube, and then I'm left with just the radicands of 2x plus 7 equals 3x minus 2, which gets us x equals 9. When you solve that. Check it. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 7 is 35. So I have a cube root of 35 on the left. 3 times 9 is 25, right? 3 times 9 is 27, minus 2 is a cube root of 25. So that checks out, so we're good. There's our answer. Okay, what if you had something that looked like this? Cube root of 3t plus 7 minus the cube root of 4t equals 0. Yes, I would. If you just watch, don't do this because this would be terrible. If you just cubed root it right away, you would not just be able to cancel out your radicals. Because technically that means you would have to do this times itself 3 times. And that would not be fun, right? You had to do that 3 times. So if we move that over, then I have a cube root of 3t plus 7 equals the cube root of 4t. Doesn't that look just like what we did before? Yeah. Okay. So cubing both sides just leaves you with the radicands of 3t plus 7 equals 4t. So 7 is equal to t. Okay. Got that? All right, so now the hardest problem that you're probably going to face. You ready for it? What is 1 times 1? That was like what my Kahoot was. Not this one, this one. The square root of 2x plus 3. Why is going off the lights today? Plus the square root of x plus 1 equals 1. All right, so if you, again, went right away to trying to square that left side, you would have to be multiplying square root of 2x plus 3 plus the square root of x plus 1 times the square root of 2x plus 3 times the square root of x plus 1. That might be a lot. That might be a lot to do, right? So what I would personally do is I would separate my square roots from left to right so that they're on individual sides. If this one was a minus here, I would definitely move the negative over so it becomes a positive. But in this case, it's already positive, so it doesn't really matter which one I move. I would move the one with the least amount of things happening in the radicand over, because once you have to start doing this multiplication, less numbers to deal with, the better. Okay? So, if I move over the square root of x plus 1, on the right side I get 1 minus a square root of x plus 1. Right? Everybody follow that step? So now when I square the left side, we get 2x plus 3 is equal to, now here's the tricky part, when I square this, I'm going to have to rewrite this twice and FOIL.
Oh, the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Why can't you subtract 1 like after you do the squaring of the 2x plus 3?
because I have to square the whole thing. Right.
Wait, why can't? That makes sense.
Okay, so first, 1 times 1 gets me 1.
Playing with the lights.
I don't know.
I'm so distracted.
Oh yeah, that's why you're distracted.
Yeah. 1 times the negative, we'll close the door. 1 times the negative square root of x plus 1 would be a negative square root x plus 1. In my middle there, I get another negative square root x plus 1. Now here we need to figure out what this is going to be. What's a negative square root x plus 1 times a negative square root x plus 1?
Positive.
Positive.
Square root x plus 1.
Nice.
Try again.
Damn.
Yeah, what happens to your square root signs? Don't they go away?
Yeah.
So then I'm just left with plus x plus 1?
See, that was close enough.
Close enough.
You know, you just like you really. I have stepped up to the plate this week.
You have, you have. All right, so let's combine like terms. 1 and 1 combines to make a 2. Here I have a negative and a negative square root x plus 1, which would be negative 2 square roots of x plus 1. And here I have a plus x. Gotta finish this one through. Gotta finish it through. I'm gonna move everything but this right here to the left side. I'm gonna leave that over there on the right. So I'm gonna move my 2 over by subtracting it. I'm gonna move my x over by subtracting it. So now I have x plus 1 is equal to negative 2 times the square root of x plus 1. Now I could, but then I'm going to be dealing with fractions. Do we want to deal with fractions? No. So it would not be incorrect to do that. But if I square this whole side, huh?
And once you think we've got to the answer, we're just going to
Divide x plus 1 by 2. Okay, guys, quiet, please.
Divide x plus 1 by negative 2 instead of doing that.
You could, but then you'd be dealing with fractions and squaring fractions when you square the left side. So is it easier to square x plus 1 squared and just square a negative 2? Or is it easier to square a half of an x and a half? Do you know what I mean? All right. Come on, guys. This is what you're going to be doing in the dentist's office next time around.
What?
All right, next.
At the dentist office? Why are we waiting for the dentist?
That's what I do in dentist's office is when I'm waiting. I do math. All right, so my right side. Who thinks they've got it? It is 4x plus 4, because it would be 4 times x plus 1, which is 4x plus 4. What's the left side, Easton?
How much do you guys want to?
Good. X squared plus 2x plus 1. Would you then be able to solve the rest of that equation?
Yes. Square it.
So now we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 4x plus 4. Move everything to the left, which would get me x squared minus 2x minus 3. Factors of negative 3 that get you to negative 2. X minus 3x plus 1. So my two options are 3 and negative 1. Which ones work? Negative 1, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 1 plus 0 is 1, so that one works. Checking 3. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3 is 9. That gets me 3 plus 2, because this would be 3 plus 1. So 4 is 3 plus 2, 1. So just negative 1 is your solution. All right, that's it.